mass, which can increase the ordinary mechanical mass of the bodies, or in more modern terms, the increase should arise from their electromagnetic self-energy. An example of flat Earth electromagnetism in the Tesla shield, the outer ring is at the Antarctic Circle with the inner ring at the North Pole, creating a dipole connection to the electromagnetic dome. Core pole positive with surrounding negative energy get their energy. How tides work on a flat Earth model and increased electromagnetism when salt is added. Scalar waves can be warped into a dome around objects, such as cities or houses. Force field is generally known as the Tesla shield, and it would be analogous to the shields referred to in the popular Star Trek series. Tesla shields have a definite defensive application. It could not in any way be used for offensive purposes. The only defense from a blast of a scalar wave howitzer would be a Tesla shield. Electrical force is similar to gravity in that it is inverse proportional to the square of the distance between charges. By the 18th century, physicist Charles Coulomb defined the quantity of electricity later known as a coulomb and determined the force law between electric charges, known as Coulomb's law. Coulomb's law is similar to the law of gravity in that the electrical force is inversely proportional to the distance of the charges squared and proportional to the product of the charges. By the end of the 18th century, we had determined that electric charge could be stored in a conducting body if it is insulated from its surroundings, being produced by the dynamo or capacitors that provided the input. A second way a Tesla coil produces a gain of energy is the increase in voltage as the longitudinal waves or ether flows across the secondary windings. As it flows across the secondary, voltage increases to extremely high levels. In this step, the gain of the system is further increased. This voltage increase is taking place without any magnetic power. This produces an even larger gain of energy. Since the Earth generates its own electromagnetic current from the ice wall, scaffolding is not necessary with his generators. He has to initiate the current and use the scaffolding to fold it into the center. One might surmise that the heavy water firmament can almost exerts additional pressure or opposite resistance to.
Providing the necessary waveform shaping. This is considered to be the magnetic pulse aligning atoms in the metal. Eventually, all of the atoms are aligned, and so not further effect can be produced by further pulsing. This alignment can be destroyed if the metal bar is heated to a sufficiently high temperature, forcing the atoms into such an energetic state that the alignment is lost. It should perhaps be stressed here that the magnet itself does not have any power, in spite of seeming to have. Tom Bearden explains this clearly by pointing out that what happens is that the opposite poles of the magnet created a dipole which unbalances the random quantum foam nature of the local environment, the zero-point energy field, and that causes continuous energy flows from the environment. The when a current flows through a straight line or B, a magnetic field is produced around it. The character of this field is shown in the figure over the case when the current is flowing upwards through a vertical wire. When the current is flowing downwards, the field is of exactly the same character, except that the lines of force run in the opposite direction round the wire. IRGRMP. Elasticity and magnetism. 19. Now by reversing the current as is stated above, we get a similar magnetic field with the lines of force going around in the opposite direction. We may take diagram IV to represent the magnetic field in the northern circle, with as the north center. But instead of reversing the current and so altering the direction of the circular lines of force, we may take a second field to represent the southern circle with the lines of force going around the PC and so from B to C in the opposite direction. As represented in diagram V, this will illustrate the currents flowing around the south pole. In the above diagram, a circular current is represented as going along the wire from the through N to B in one direction, and so on from B to C to S in another direction. The electric current thus going in an opposite direction through the wire, at S, from that at point N. The circular lines of forces, or S in an opposite direction to those which travel around point N. And thus we have an illustration of the two great currents which circle respectively around the north and south magnetic poles. These great currents meet in the middle and neutral line, or zone, called the equator, and interlock like the cogs of two connected wheels working together in harmony. This we will illustrate in diagram.
32 seconds into the flight. The 3 liquid fuel main engines soon will throttle back to 72% of rated performance down in the bucket, reducing the stress on the shuttle as it goes transonic.
Because they wouldn't let it go, they wouldn't let it go to make a picture. Animation.